pleasure to be sitting here with yourself, D.B. Morgan, on your next production in Suffolk this time. I wonder if you could tell us about this TV pilot that you're shooting, what's it all about, and how did you come up with this brilliant idea?
Thank you, Rodney. Certainly is a pleasure. Obviously, we've been chatting a while now through my journey and my first 3 feature films. And originally I wanted to start with telly, and I always wanted to do a TV comedy, something with a D.B. Morgan edge to it. And these bloody feature films kept getting in the way. And I'm joking, I'm so blessed, I've been so lucky, especially like with lockdown as well, having a hotel to film a horror film in. I didn't have the opportunity to make, something that's potentially a lot quicker to make because of our schedule and everything, the opportunity had arisen. However, this year I thought, okay, well, I've got to play catch up. I've got a year where I'm not making a feature, so now's the time. So in the back of my mind, I've had this character, Bruxo Burvis, which is 2 different foreign words for like wizard or magic. This kind of fraudulent, fake stage clairvoyant. And I've been talking to Dean Kilby about it for a while, and he came up with some character ideas. So I can't remember when it was. I wrote the pilot script and fleshed out the Bible for the whole series in the summer while we were staying in the caravan park editing Morris Men. And it just felt right, and it flowed nicely. And so I spoke to Dean, and I said, okay, Dean, well, when are you free? And we logged in these 3 days, and I said, okay, that's it. We're greenlit. Spoke to some money people. It's quite funny, because I was scraping around, originally to try and do stuff. Now I'm in a position where I can get funding now, which is amazing. It's still, I kick myself sometimes about how it's happened. So like, here's my playground, can I play? Yep, play. So I've got a question. What was the question?
Yeah, that's great. That's where the idea came from. We've got something really well.
So yeah, a fraudulent stage clairvoyant, but with a backstory. He fell into it by mistake because his mother was dying, and he came up with this character, Bruxo, to give her peace because she was scared because she was dying. And it brought her a lot of peace. And then his auntie told someone else, and then he had to go and do a reading or a mind bender, as I call it, a mind bender. He had to go and do it with her, and then someone else in the village heard about it. And before he knew it, he was doing like psychic nights for like 10 people, and then it grew and grew and grew. So he kind of fell into it with the best of intentions, because whether you believe in that or you don't, and some people call these people fraudulent grief vampires, fundamentally, you're giving people peace at the point when they need it the most. Now, you could draw, I'm not getting into the depth of things with the parallels with religion and other things like that, but fundamentally Bruxo was a lovely guy just trying to bring peace to his mum, and he fell into this. Then he got addicted to the adulation of having the crowds, and he almost hit the bright lights of Yarmouth. He almost got there. He had this wonderful evening in Lowestoft, but he had this falling out with Keith Chegwin over a bag of chips, and they had a scrap on the beach. It was awful. And then it went a bit tits up, and he cheated on his missus because he was in Lowestoft, and there was an audience of like 20 people, 30 people there, and he got a bit starstruck, had a bit of an affair, and so now we kind of come into the story at the lowest ebb, where he's clinging onto his job as the in-house medium at Sunny Stan's holiday park in Lowestoft. His wife's on the verge of leaving him, and it can only go up from then. And basically, where we are now, where we're filming in the amazing Jubilee Hall Theatre in Aldborough, he pushes it too far, and he upsets a gypsy necromancer, and she puts a spell on him. And then suddenly Bruxo really does have a connection with the dead. And like with in the film Ghost, or in Ricky Gervais's Ghost Town, suddenly his brain and his ears, all he can hear is dead people crying out for his help. Then every episode, if he doesn't help somebody, he just gets consumed by the voice of the dead. So it's kind of like Quantum Leap, really, but with elements of tragedy. He's a tragic character in his tragic small world, and it's cringeworthy, and it's hopefully funny, but So
I love your backstory. There's always a lot of depth to them, a lot of meaning and sort of multiple purposes behind them. It's really interesting. So I wanted, I've been on set today, it's been fantastic watching the action. It's just brought up more questions for me. It's all very entertaining, but also a mystery. I just wanted, for the audience to understand how it works, is it just a TV show you're filming, or is it the life behind the scenes of the TV show as well?
So it's a basically, I call it a drama, comedy, sitcom basically, where every episode is standard, he has to go on a mission, and everything almost goes right and then fails, or does go right, or nearly fails and then goes right. We have elements of behind the scenes in there that I'm not, the beautiful thing is, because I write, direct and edit, I don't quite know how it's going to end up until we edit. So we can have elements of kind of like the behind the scenes officey kind of extra style thing. I know the third episode is going to be purely a documentary where the local news crew are following around because they suddenly heard of this psychic that actually knows everything. But as for the actual structure, it's going to be different. It's going to feel very, very traditional in its setting, but there's going to be some strange elements. I mean, Bruxo gets turned into a rabbit in episode 5. You know, that's a surprise. So he spends the whole episode 5 trying to not be a rabbit anymore. So I mean, that probably explains kind of where we're at with my thinking.
I said, little old wine drinker me. I said, little old wine drinker